Steve Richman. Welcome back to the Big Skip Energy Podcast.
Well, it's an energy podcast, so I'm gonna just
I'm
energetic, baby. I'm happy to be here. How you doing, my friend Skip?
That's good to see you again, man. Good to see you. I tell you what, this is a weird time for us.
It is. It is good to see you again. I get to see you at podcasts. I get to see you at conferences. I think that was a very good conference that we saw each other at. That was fun. And
is that because you were a featured speaker?
Say it again.
Is that because you were a featured speaker?
Well, you know, that's not what made it weird, but I'm finding with conferences, you want to talk about the market. I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm finding now that people who are going to conferences are actually liking the conferences that much more because they haven't been around conferences lately. They haven't been around people lately. So that in live and in person, people are jonesing for. Companies are a little reluctant to spend that kind of money to send people to those conferences. So it's that give and take. You got the companies saying, do we want to spend? We got the people saying, wow, I'm getting so much out of it. So I think it's interesting what's going on in conferences right now. I know for me, I dig conferences. I'm going to them all the time. And that reconnection, you talk about what's going on in the industry. Look at this, Skip. I'm not even going to let you talk today. So we talk about, what's going on in the industry. I think as much as we can all say, gosh, I mean, I know you're a happily family guy and all that. I'm a family guy, married guy, but they just don't get what's going on in the industry because it's something that we deal with every day. And they're like, oh, things are a little bit, inventory is a little bit tight. Okay, I understand. It's a little bit different than just, it's a little tight. Let's go.
It's more than a little bit tight. Yeah.
Right. So I like being able to empathize and meet my colleagues face to face. So it makes me want and feel like I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
But I also believe that I'm surrounded by a bunch of great professionals and we're going to be okay.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's something to that. So you saw this as part of the '08 mess, and now we're kind of seeing a little bit, it's different, but we're seeing, a troubling time here for a lot of people in the mortgage business. And this has the opportunity to allow us as mortgage professionals to kind of, frankly, to get better at what we do, develop thicker skin, tougher mindset, sharpen that soul, whatever cliche you want to use, right? What are you seeing out there as far as the most effective methods to do that?
All right. 3 things, baby. Let's make sure that I hit all 3 things.
All right.
I went to a conference, sharks and tents. Okay. So it's your job to remember the 3 things that I can make sure that I hit what's there. 1, I went to this conference, not the one with you, a different conference. Yeah. And this is not 2008, 2009. If we've been through we had an economist who stood up and reaffirmed what most of us know. In 2008, 2009, we were a big part of that problem. When I talk about, and when I say we, I mean the mortgage and real estate industry. I don't mean like Skip and Steve.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were central of that hurricane that was happening in 2008, 2009. Here, there are 100 elements, national, international, that are all coming together, and it's forcing the entire market, not just the real estate and mortgage market. So it's a very different situation today than it was before. I mean, we're shooting down balloons. Who knew that was going to happen? We're coming out of COVID. Who knew we were going to have COVID? It's very, very different. What do you do? Well, think about being a shark just for a second. Do sharks always eat?
No, they do not always eat.
But they're always swimming.
Yes.
And that's what we need to do. We need to keep on with the activities that we're doing so that gets us to the point where there is the food and then we'll be able to eat. Let's go back to Dory. Just keep swimming, okay? I mean, there's a lot of, well, my activity is supposed to produce results. Well, right now we're looking at your activity is going to produce long-term results. We are planting seeds right now. That's what we need to do. Be a shark, keep swimming, and then you're going to come across that meal and you're going to feed and be fine, which is the next thing that I want to say. Yes, there's a difference here. We talk about low inventory. Now think about this just for a second. Let's say there's mad cow disease. I'm not saying there is mad cow disease. I'm saying, let's just say We've all heard of mad cow disease. And what happens as soon as mad cow disease comes around? Oh, all of a sudden, not many people are eating at McDonald's anymore. So they're going, oh my, but at the end of the day, they still come back to McDonald's once that problem passes because they love their fries and they love a Big Mac. Okay. So
those are good fries.
Those are great fries. So we are just literally at mad cow disease. It's not like, see, it's not like people are saying, oh, I'm no longer buying VCRs and I've moved on to go buy something else. It's not, I'm not going to get, I'm just don't have this right now, but I'm going to come back to it. Go look at tent sales. Go look at cave sales. We don't see a lot of people buying caves today saying, well, I guess housing's over. I don't need a house anymore. I'm going to go live in a cave. I'm going to go buy a tent and that's where I'm going to live for the rest of my life. We're just at a time right now that, you know what? We're being replaced. We're not being replaced. We're being paused. We're going to be okay. Watch those tent sales and those cave sales, because if they go up, then we're going to have a trouble with real estate long term, but we're going to be okay.
So you think a cave would be classified as a unique property by Fannie Mae?
Well,
is that insurable for MI?
Well, no, it's not insured. Well, it doesn't have wheels on it, so it might be insurable. It
might be, yeah.
We don't insure anything with wheels. Not that I work for an MI company.
Right.
But go watch Tom Hanks in Castaway. It was a nice cave, but he still wanted to go back home and be in a house. Look at that, tie it all up in it.
Tied it in. You even brought Tom Hanks into this.
Got it. And then we did Dory with Ellen DeGeneres. I guess it's movie time.
We are bringing in all kinds of stuff for this conversation. So, Steve, I want to talk to you about this because you said focus on the activities, and that is something that I preach a lot. It's great to hear you say it. It is 100% right in my opinion. So, focusing on the activities as opposed to the outcomes. Now, for those out there that are listening, in mortgage or frankly, in any sales environment, but of course, we're going to focus on mortgage today. Focusing on the activities is really, really crucial in quote unquote down times. Talk a little bit more about that if you can. Why is that? And what kind of activities are you specifically meaning?
Well, look at this. Yeah, baby. How do you get a body like this? It's not focusing on the outcome. It's going to the gym every single day and taking those activities.
An Adonis.
I'm sorry?
I said, you're an Adonis.
Don't I wish? But activities lead to results. Results don't happen on their own. When I'm looking at activities right now, you got to use your CRM. You got to use your database. These people, they already know you. If you're not calling on real estate agents every single day, because 88% of all purchases are through a real estate agent, according to the National Association of Realtors. We've been hearing about the demise of the real estate agent for 20 years. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. Keep calling on real estate agents. But what I think people need to do when they're networking, when they're going out there to these conferences we were talking about, go beyond real estate agents. Bless you. I'm a big believer, and I've been watching headlines. I'm talking to builders today. We know that the problem isn't rate. It's a lack of inventory that's out there right now. And that lack of inventory is going to remain for some time, because take somebody like me and this lovely house that I'm in, where I have a 2.625 rate on my house. That means I'm not leaving that house anytime soon and releasing that back into the wild for more inventory. So where are we going to find this inventory? Builders are getting busier and busier right now. They need to find the land to be able to build on it. So that is a big piece of it. Don't get me wrong. But you talk to any real estate agent today, you say, what do you want? Go back to the gym comment. They're like, I need a gym membership because I have LOs taking me out to lunch every single day of the week because they're all trying to get in touch with me. I say go after the builders right now, because in 6 months to a year, every LO is going to be going after builders. And therefore, if you're already there with them today, you've planted those seeds and done something about it. The other one that I'm looking at, you should be talking to financial planners right now. We need to talk to financial planners. Most economists, the economists I listened to last week, said the middle class is disappearing. It's a weird recession. The recession is hitting the people that it's hitting, and it's not hitting others because they're in fine condition. Well, the people who are in good economic condition typically are already dealing with a financial planner. So if they're the people that are going to be able to be purchasing the homes, why are you not talking to financial planners? I think
Right.
that's really, so my activity is less about what do you do? And I can talk about video because I think you got to do video. Hence, we're having a
We will
video
talk about
call
that in a
right
minute. Yeah.
now. But my first activity is to go explore my database, go after my real estate agents that I'm currently working with to make sure that, and that I want to work with so that they know me, go after my actual customers that I have relationships with to see where they are and what's going on. But
Correct.
I want to add builders and financial planners into that database. That's step one.
I like it. I like it, man. And, you know, let's talk about video in a second, but because I think this is going to segue into that. But let's talk about not only, let's just look at it from a loan officer perspective. All right. I know obviously you don't like the term loan officer. I get it. We had that on the show last time. But
Oh, I got a new one though. I said that
oh, what you
before.
got? What you got? What you got?
I don't want to be a loan officer. I want you to be the RIC,
Which stands for
the recommender in chief.
okay.
Right? I don't care what it is. You want to know what restaurant you should go to? I can give you a recommendation. You want to know what painter you should be using? I can give you a recommendation. What should you be binging? You should go watch the first season of Ted Lasso. Season 2, not so much. Season 3, definitely not. Okay. So if I can be the recommender in chief, make it so much more than just about the mortgage. So the mortgage Sherpa was still just about the mortgage, but I want to be the HRIC, the head recommender in chief.
Okay. All right. Well, so for loan officers out there, no, I'm kidding. No. So the activities are great. Calling on these people, what you have to do, but it also comes down to bringing something of value to those potential referral partner sources. And I think that's what a loan officers saying, you know, I don't want to call on these realtors because everybody else is calling them. I can't ever get anybody to call me back, answer the phone, whatever the case may be, email me back. I said, and so my answer to that is usually, well, why are you, why are you calling on them? What are you doing for them? Because this whole thing has got to be about the other person. And what are you seeing out there as far as the most successful strategies to really get that conversation started? Because that's what it's all about, is just talking.
I'm going to help you do this right now. I'm going to help you and everybody else listening, Skip, because what's IMA? IMA is, see, information is not knowledge. It's how you use your knowledge is how it gives you, is what gives you power, the use of knowledge. So when I say IMA, it's IMMA, information. We have this information right now, but what do you need to do? You need to MMA it. Information, mindset, message, action. Information, mindset, message, action. So don't just know the information. Say, okay, well, I know that there's a lack of inventory right now, but what am I, so I'm going, I need to what? My mindset is people are still going to want to buy houses, but we have to look for other sources. So my message is that the market is going to get better. We are going to survive. No one's buying caves and tents right now. So what is the action that I'm going to take so I can get that message out there? One of the great things you can do is always, and Skip, I'm doing the exact opposite of what I'm preaching right now. So let me say, Skip is awesome. Skip is the greatest. You don't skip this podcast, right? I mean, Skip is Skip. You like that. Yeah, there you go. Stop talking about yourself and how much information you have. Yep. It ain't about you. So what's great is I was talking to somebody the other day and we were working on a video program and I said, why don't you think about sort of doing this? If the real estate agent is a little bit reluctant to go on camera with you or even to meet with you, create your own video that says, hey folks, I just want to share a best practice. I worked with a person named Skip Wilcox and Skip did this and I thought that was awesome. If you start sharing best practices from somebody else, that person's going to take you on and have that conversation with you. And they're going to share that video and they're going to do it. Now, hold on. Then they go, well, if you talk about one real estate agent, another real estate agent's going to get upset. Hey, folks, don't get upset if I'm talking about that other real estate agent. If you have a best practice you'd like me to share, please let me know. All you have to do is have a conversation with me. Now, what have we just done? Kaboom. We just grew our own network by talking about other people.
That's what it's all about, man. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then the action. So don't just talk about the information, talk to those real estate agents about what actions that they can take to help them grow their business,
Okay.
help them get the action. So why not? It's amazing to me how many people are reluctant to go on video. So help your real estate agents go on video. One of the easiest tips, and you and I are doing it right now, Skip. People, well, if it's just me on video, who wants to see that? Have somebody else on the video, you, the loan officer, who's interviewing the real estate agent. That makes them comfortable because they're not talking to a camera, they're talking to another person. And all of a sudden, you've helped them overcome that issue, that problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny you say that because I've got a coaching client that I work with, terrified to be on camera, terrified, hates the idea of being posting on social media with him talking. Right. I said, hey man, you got your dog right there next to you. You love your dog. Bring him on camera with you. Because you know what? Everybody loves the dog, right? So you automatically have some extra credence. Just talk and just be comfortable. That's all you got.
Because you make it about something other than
right.
Mortgage and real estate. The other one, this goes back to we went off of activity for a second. So go back to the dog in just a second. But when I look at activity, how many things were you not able to do because you were too busy 2 years ago? Oh my gosh, I wanted to do a podcast, but I was too busy closing loans. Oh my gosh, I wanted to write a book, but I was too busy closing loans. Oh my gosh, I wanted to learn more about construction to perm, but I was too busy doing refis. All that stuff that you were activities that you were too busy to do 2 years ago, now is the perfect opportunity to go out there and start to do those today.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no reason to put it off any longer. I mean, you can make the argument of people should have been doing that the entire time, no matter what. Too late for that now. So go ahead and start, right?
Yep.
That's right.
And I love your idea. Bring the dog on camera. People want to go to Chat GPT and type in, why should I do videos? It gets people to get to know you on a personal basis, which is the exact opposite of what Chat GPT does, is because it doesn't get to know you on a personal basis. It gets you to know Chat GPT, but that's a whole nother issue.
It's a different conversation for a different day.
Right. But if you bring your dog on, people love that so much more than, hi, this is what's happening with rates, and this is where inventory is. I do videos. My daughter rides horses. So I love when I'm ever at the barn, I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity to go do that. And I've had multiple people. I was just in Jacksonville, Florida, giving a presentation, and a woman in the back of the room, she says, oh, I've seen your videos. Your daughter rides horses. And guess what we did? We had an actual conversation, and we never talked about mortgages. We talked about horses, but now I have what? I have a new person in my network.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Yeah. Like, my dude with the dog, he had the dog next to him on every coaching call we had. I was like, you're comfortable talking to me. You didn't know me until this. Let's do it. He's cranking them out, baby. Cranking them out.
No, I love that idea. Have your dog involved. And for my daughter, have a horse involved.
Have a horse.
Plus my daughter, right?
There you
go. But it also makes it conversational.
Yeah, it does. And that's also why talking about activities and reaching out to people, calling on these, that's also why, I know we're getting a little down into the nitty gritty, but also why sending video messages are so important. Have you tried this at all? Have you played with sending out video messaging?
You mean bomb?
No, I mean, I was, you can do it on LinkedIn. You can do it Vidyard, BombBomb's one, and you can
done it with BombBomb. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, I've done it with BombBomb, but there's a woman named Marlene Jones. Shout out to Marlene Jones. You don't know her. She's an LO up in Connecticut. 15 years ago, she saw me. I ran into her at a conference like 6 months ago. She goes, oh my gosh, I still feel like I know you and I know your family because I see it all on social media and we're doing all of that. There's power in doing this stuff. People say, I feel like I just saw you. Well, you haven't seen me in 15 years, but you feel like you just saw me because you've been seeing me these other places, these videos, these social media. Very effective stuff.
Like, oh yeah, your little girl, she's gotten so big now. It's like, yeah, you've never met her, but you know.
That's right. That's right.
So Steve, let's talk about you for just a second here. Now you made a good change, in my opinion. You've gone out there, you're doing your thing. Talk to me about that a little bit.
it actually corresponds very much with what's going on in the industry right now, right? So I went out and I said, okay, I'm going to become SteveRichman.com. That's Steve, Richman. We all want to be a rich man.com. Okay. So that's how you can go. Hey, don't skip this podcast. So we do that, but went out on my own to do speaking engagements. And I have to tell you, it was really, really good for a period of time. I had everybody saying, oh my gosh, we love having you do presentations. Will you come do this event? Will you come do that event? And I was doing it. And just like we talked about at the beginning, the money started to disappear a little bit. And to me, that's my inventory. How many speaking engagements, right? And they started to get more and more limited. So what did I do? Time to start looking at, what do I wish I could have done? What activities do I need to do? I'm going on more and more podcasts like I'm doing right here, just so that I'm continually in front of people. I've been doing a ton on social media, and I cut little videos, just about 3 a week. I schedule them for 3 a week, and then I post something on the other days. And I can't tell you, one, it keeps me in front of people, and people still say to me all the time, it looks like you're so busy. It looks like you're doing so much. You're sharing all this information. So instead of just going out and doing the live speaking engagements, I said, okay, these are the activities that I need to do that are going to get me the result of the live speaking engagement. I'm now taking on, and I'm working with some people saying, oh, I work with some people that are sales coaches like you. And so I'm trying to send some referrals there to try and help that. And I'm now taking people on and doing video coaching with them to say, how can I get you comfortable in front of the camera? So it's the continuation, it's growth, it's evolution, it's the market. And with computers, we know that what do they say? Like 99% of evolution has happened in the last 20 years because of computers, and everything that's for business evolution has happened just in the past 20 years because of all these changes computer wise. So we know you can't be complacent. We know it's not going to be what it was yesterday. So we need to continue to grow. And I try very hard to stay on the top of what the next thing is.
I like it. I like it, man. So yeah, obviously I had a chance to recently hear you speak. You were very engaging. What is it about getting out there and doing that type of thing that is the most rewarding to you?
Connection.
Yeah.
In a word, and that's what Brene Brown, who is awesome. If you've never listened, recommend her in chief, go listen to Brene Brown, her podcast. She's got a video on Netflix. She says we human beings are neurologically wired to connect with other human beings. And there's nothing that has me connect better than when I'm standing in front of the room. And if I get people to laugh, and then you got to get them to laugh first, and then you share the information, right? Because once you make them laugh, you've connected. Now they're willing to accept what you're trying to say, the information.
There you go.
That's what I love. I love that connection. And then afterwards, when people come up to me, I also enjoy when they come up to me and say something like, well, and this happened to me just in Jacksonville. He goes, all right, I remember you told me to do this 7 years ago, and I'm still doing it, and it still works. And to me,
that's really cool, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, because I know that it works, but when I see somebody else has actually done it, and 7 years later, they're still talking about it, I'm like, because don't we all just want to make an impact? Yeah. Don't we all want to make a difference? Isn't that what we're trying to accomplish?
For sure, man, for sure. So speaking of which, going back to the video thing a second ago that you mentioned, something that I noticed that you do that I think is really cool on LinkedIn, especially, is you do your and of course you did this with Charity, my coworker.
I knew you were going to go there. You're like, why not me?
Oh, okay. And you had a great chance to give me a return comment of like, well, she's way better than you are. No, but I've noticed you do this you've done this with a couple other people since then, obviously. I love that you do a network spotlight. Can you talk to my listeners a little bit about that? And assuming that you don't mind if they steal your idea.
They should steal the idea and throw me in your spotlight. So every Friday I go, it's Friday. It's time to grow your network. It's time to meet Skip Wilcox. Literally, it's 3 sentences long. So you just do that. I just gave it to you. It's Friday. It's time to grow your network. It's time to meet blank. Then you just say three things about that person. Skip has a great podcast. He's been in the industry for a while and he has a beautiful, wonderful family. You're done. You just created every single Friday. Now, what do? I go through my list. I do try and balance it so that I try and be representative. I go male, female, and try and juggle that. That's something that is very intentional that I do. You put their name in the link, and all of a sudden that person says, thank you much. And they share it on their timeline. And what all of a sudden happens? I'm now in front of all of their people as well. But I say this to you, I'm not saying it about you, Skip, but I have people, and I did charity, and so I don't like to do multiple people from the same company within a few.
Sure.
So you'll get there. But people say, well, I love your Friday where you grow people's network. Will you talk about me? I have people ask me that.
Yep.
I say, hold on a second. Let's go online and let me look at your network or your LinkedIn page. You haven't posted in 8 months. Why do you want somebody to be on your LinkedIn network if you don't do anything on LinkedIn?
Yep.
You know, the best way to get me to talk about you is to do something on LinkedIn, because I want to I say, you need to join this person's network. They give great information on LinkedIn. Well, if you don't do that, then I'm a liar. Why should I recommend you if you're not going to engage to go in their network, if you're not going to network with them on LinkedIn? That makes no sense to me.
No, I agree with that completely. I love it. I love it, man. So if my listeners need to learn about you and book you for the next speaking engagement need,
I want to do a speaking engagement with you live. That's what we need to do. We're going to get you, me, and Charity up on the stage, and we can have a good conversation. We got to get her involved. She's awesome.
Oh yeah, no, Charity's the best. I mean, she is definitely the voice of reason in an otherwise ridiculous environment. So, but yeah, man, Steve, listen, SteveRichman.com. I really appreciate you coming back on. You're my first return guest. I love it. So
hopefully I'm wearing the same shirt just so that it'll confuse people. I have no idea.
That'd be well, no, now remember, it wasn't on video last time.
Oh, that's right. So I was probably shirtless last. No, right? That would never happen, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, Steve, thank you again for coming on, man.
Thank you, and good day to everybody. Don't skip this podcast.